if you think about it, Iran is still currently an oil-dependent economy. So if you like, their comparative advantage was oil. And that was the one thing they couldn't produce, or they weren't able to export much. So even if the price of oil falls, it's not going to fall so far that Iran will suddenly discover its comparative advantage is something else. So there will be a gain. Now, the magnitude of those benefits will be lower. The lower is the price of oil. That's the point that Uri was making. There's no question about that. But I think it's still a net gain to Iran.
There's figures are debated about what price of oil Iran needs to be able to balance its budget. Do you guys have an assessment of that at the bank?
Let me ask my colleague there. I don't think we have one for Iran, but no, I don't.
It's $105.
It's 100.
Okay, very good. Uri, do you have an assessment on that about just kind of well, let me actually, I'll move the subject slightly, and that is, both of you have been working in the field of development economics for a very long time, and there was a very interesting piece about Myanmar, Burma, in the Wall Street Journal a few weeks back about how the country's economic opening a couple of years ago has really enriched government cronies, military cronies. It hasn't really trickled down to the population in Myanmar. If you can kind of project it 2-3 years forward, based on kind of a comparative perspective that you have, how do you see this, the potential removal of economic sanctions, how do you see that playing out within Iran? And kind of to add on to that, what are the kind of countries which oftentimes, people who do political science like to invoke 1970s China or the Soviet Union? Is there another country or region which you find kind of most applicable to Iran's potential opening?
Well, I think I can answer a little bit on the first part of the question, which is we have done some analysis, not on Iran, but in several other countries in the MENA region, in particular Tunisia and Egypt, where we find that the unemployment problem is directly related to crony capitalism, to elite capture. So we find that the Ben Ali regime in Tunisia before the revolution had had family connections that owned the banking sector, the telecom sector, and the transport sector. And as a result, those sectors stood in the way of export-led growth. Now, there is some work by Kevin Harris at Princeton that's trying to do a similar kind of analysis of Iran. So it's preliminary work, but he's also finding various connections in the private sector.